if you're Arteta now, there's a dynamic in the title race where you will have played an extra game, maybe gone 7 points clear of City.
Yeah.
City still have that weird calendars in this country, but they have that weird Brighton game, which we don't know when they're going to play it. Presumably, they have to play it before the last day of the season.
Yeah, they will, because they will play after the semi-final of the Champions League. I don't think there's a time before they will. If they qualify for the semi-final of the Champions League, then after that, after those 2 games, I think there's probably space, like in mid-May, maybe it's just before the week of the last.
And they're not scheduling it now in case City get knocked out of the Champions League and don't play the semi-finals.
And you can't. They've been playing every 3 days anyway.
No, I know, but it's just such a.
It's strange. No,
it's an unusual situation, and I think the scheduling of that game will also matter a lot to Brighton, because obviously Brighton are on fire right now.
Yeah.
Brighton could be in a position to really compete for something very important.
Yeah.
Or, they could miss out on Europa League. It can be late in the season and things kind of peter out.
And also, by the time Arsenal go to the Etihad in 10 days, so Wednesday week, is that what we said? So in 10 days, they will have 2 games over City, because they play Southampton.
That's what I said.
Friday.
Yeah. They could be 7 points clear.
Yeah. But they could even have been 10 had they won, obviously, 9, if they won at West Ham.
It could have been 11 if they'd also won
but
it.
Like the sense that this is the league final. Potentially, it could be the league final, and yet they don't have the same games at all. Like 2 games is, it's a big difference. I've never seen anything like that before, and it's a exceptional season from a City point of view, because they can still win the treble, and they might do. But yeah, it's still strange that we will look at this game and potentially Arsenal have a 7 points cushion, but we say it all depends on this game almost. When the 7 points clear, it'd be weird.
Was it a few years ago that Liverpool, I think, had a bunch of games in hand?
Yeah, that rings a bell.
This kind of stuff.
It's just a shame because you would love them to be both on, 33.
It's a peculiar English quirk. Because I'm old, I remember many, many, many years ago, they used to have endless replays, not just in the FA Cup, but in the League Cup too. So you would get to April and there'd be teams that had played they had 5 or 6 games in hand. It was absolutely demented, and then they'd had situations where they'd play on Saturday and then play again on
Monday,
Tuesday, and then on Thursday night and then Saturday again, different time.
Yes,
sterner game, or sterner men.
But what do you think should be Arteta's message now to the players? So it was, you would think he was unhappy after the game on Sunday. So maybe the hairdryer treatment there. But then Friday, Southampton at the Emirates, that has to be a win anyway. Because if you don't win that, then really you can't, you don't deserve even to be champions. But is it hey, stay positive? We still right now, they still have their destiny into their own hands. They can.
Right, just got smaller because.
Yeah, but it's still the case. Right now, you would rather be the hunter or the hunted?
I feel it has slipped away from Arsenal. Doesn't mean they can't reach out and grab it again. But I think the psychological weight of those 4 points dropped against Liverpool and against West Ham. That weighs heavily. And even I wonder too if at this stage of the season, the fact that this is all they're playing for. We can say, yeah, but City have the Champions League, and so it's a distraction and mentally. It also means City don't spend too much time second guessing themselves in the league. They don't. They don't have time for that.
They're
like, all right, screw this, the league, whatever. We win it every year anyway. It's almost like there's less pressure on them, if that makes any sense. And I think, ordinarily, I'm not one to bring up mentality and psychology, because I think 98% of it is nonsense when it comes to professional athletes. However, I think in this case it may apply, because as we've been saying all year, this is a very, very young team. These aren't players who are used to winning. Yeah. Other than Partey, Jesus and Zinchenko, I think you'll find very, very few trophies in there.
That's why I think it's still a learning process. And you can't, if you compete with City already, which is maybe one of the greatest teams for sure in Premier League history, in English football history, they've won 4 of the last 5. You're still in there.
And then they add Erling Haaland.
They add Haaland, and they're still behind you, which I think in itself is is incredible from an Arsenal point of view, and this is all new to you. This is all like you've never really been in that position before. So, and you're learning. The issue is that you don't learn from the mistakes you made against Liverpool because you still make some against West Ham. Okay, I get that. But this is still part of it. And I think they still have to be positive and believe. And because if they start questioning themselves and, maybe we're letting this slip, we're not there, we're not this, we're not that, then for sure then they're gonna beat you.
I think, though, one key thing that Arteta is going to do, if he hasn't done it already, is he has a word with Thomas Partey and reminds him of his role in this team, make sure that he's okay. Look, as you said, if he just made a mistake, it's fine. Yeah. Is there something off the pitch that may be bothering him? Is there, is something going on? Because you need the real Thomas Partey out there. Yeah. Because otherwise it is a lot tougher. With all the love in the world for Georgie, it's a different team.
Georgie's okay against Southampton on Friday.
He's okay in winning the Euros too. But in this team, for the way they play, no, and you can also make the point that if I have Georgie in the middle of the park, and then I go back to the Xhaka left-back option, if Georgie's not there, and it's Tierney stepping in the middle of the park rather than Zinchenko, that's one less passer I have.
Yeah.
That might have been a game where maybe you choose to take a different approach. But I think at this stage, if Arsenal win the title, the only way it's happening if Thomas Partey plays a big part in it in a positive way between now and the end of the season.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.